आप देख रहे हैं मैक्स हेल्थ केयर दिल की बात और मैं हूं खुराफात दिन। अब जिस विषय में हम बात करने वाले हैं यहाँ पर, जब भी इस बारे में बात होती है, लोगों का अक्सर दिल जो है पसीज सा जाता है, चाहे आपका बच्चा हो ना हो। पर व्हेनेवर यू हियर ऑफ अ लिटिल किड जिसको कंजेनिटल हार्ट डिजीज़ हुआ है, तो नेचुरली दुख होता है और दिल पसीज जाता है। नाउ कंजेनिटल हार्ट डिजीज़ बिगिंस एज अ हार्ट डिफेक्ट बिफोर बर्थ. The defects may not produce symptoms until later in adulthood, and it could be caused by Down syndrome, rubella या स्मोकिंग या ड्रग्स अगर यूज़ किए गए प्रेगनेंसी के दौरान, अलग अलग कारण हो सकते हैं। इस बारे में बात करने के लिए आज मेरे साथ एक बहुत ही डेकोरेटेड डॉक्टर हैं, डॉक्टर कुलभूषण एस दागर, प्रिंसिपल डायरेक्टर, चीफ सर्जन एंड हेड ऑफ द नियोनेटल एंड कंजेनिटल हार्ट सर्जरी, मैक्स सुपर स्पेशलिटी हॉस्पिटल, साकेत. He is an accomplished neonatal and pediatric cardiac surgeon exclusively dedicated to the care of children with congenital and acquired heart defects. He has performed over 10,500 surgeries with outstanding results. Prior to joining Max Healthcare, he worked with renowned international medical institutions like Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children, London, UK. और आज मेरे साथ एक बहुत ही प्यारा बच्चा माधव, उसके पिताजी आज हमारे साथ हैं, शैलेंद्र कुमार पांडे जी. माधव जो है वॉज बॉर्न इन गोरखपुर, 3 अक्टूबर 2019 में पैदा हुआ था. इसका बर्थ वेट था 3.4 kgs, पर बहुत जल्द लेबर्ड ब्रीदिंग और रेस्पिरेटरी डिस्ट्रेस की वजह से इसे रेफ़र कर मैक्स साकेत लाया गया, जहां पर अभी भी वो एडमिट है. और इन्हीं के डॉक्टर जो है आज मेरे साथ है, डॉक्टर के एस दागर. तो शैलेंद्र जी एंड डॉक्टर के एस दागर, वेलकम टू शो. थैंक यू सो मच.
थैंक यू नितिन फॉर हैविंग अस.
आपका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. आई नो वी कैन ऑल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट यू गोइंग थ्रू, और फिर भी आपने टाइम निकाला यहाँ पर अपनी स्टोरी शेयर करने के लिए आए, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया करना चाहूँगा आपका. पहला सवाल मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा डॉक्टर डागर, कंजेनिटल हार्ट डिजीज CHD क्या होता है, व्हाट कॉजेज इट?
So Nitin, your question has got two aspects to it. One is a relatively easy one and one is a little more difficult to explain. So I think I'll take the easy one to go. So congenital heart defects are basically defects which are present since birth. So when the child is in the uterus, the development of the heart is a very, very complex process. And you can have abnormalities which happen, and they are going to manifest right at the time that the child is born. You would be surprised to know that congenital heart defects are the commonest congenital abnormalities that a child could be born with.
Oh.
Yeah, so people generally think that cleft lip, cleft palates and other abnormalities like thalassemia etc. are more common, but they're wrong. Congenital heart defects are the commonest, and it's not only in India, it's across the world. So these defects could, so just to put things into perspective, if we say that there are about 8 to 9 children per 1,000 births who will have a congenital heart defect, one would say that the load is about 2 lakh patients a year that would need some sort of an intervention, and about 30% of these children would need to have some intervention within the first few weeks to the first few months of being born.
Oh.
And so these defects can be multiple and varied. So generally they could be structural defects, or these defects could sort of impair the functionality of the heart. The most common structural defects are holes in the heart. So you would have heard terms like ventricular septal defects or an ASDs. These are basically holes within the septum and between the right-sided and the left-sided chambers. The other common group is where you can have narrowing of the main blood vessels, something like a coarctation. Now what that does is that if you are narrowed, then the heart as a pump has to do more work.
Right.
The heart will eventually at some time get tired. It's after all a muscle.
Right.
And then you have symptoms. The third main group is related to the valves. So the valves may either be narrowed or they may be leaking. And an incompetent valve is an harbinger for problems down the road. The other major ones is, and which are sort of luckily not so commonly encountered, are where parts of the hearts are not made. So generally if you have a right-sided heart and a left-sided heart, sometimes the left side of the heart is not fully formed, and we call that as the hypoplastic left heart.
Okay.
So instead of 2 good pumping chambers, you'll probably have a single pumping chamber. And these are the defects which are thankfully rather rare within the spectrum.
Yeah.
The other major group would be where the blood vessels come from the opposite side. So the aorta, which is supposed to come from the left, moves over to the right side, and the right-sided blood vessel goes over to the left. So now what is happening is that the blood, the good blood and the bad blood is mixing. So what you have is the child will be blue because the oxygen content goes down. And this is a big subset which is known as the cyanotic heart diseases. Now, what causes these defects is unfortunately not very well understood. But we do know that in a certain subsets, predisposing factors like if a mother has uncontrolled diabetes, she is hypothyroid, then there are certain genetic clusterings. So if you belong to a family which has the genetic background, then there is a greater propensity for these parents to have children who would have congenital heart defects. Social factors do have a predominant bearing. So like if you are smoking and you are consuming alcohol during the first 3 months of pregnancy, it is known that the chances of having a child with a congenital defect are much higher than if you are not.
Right.
Certain infections during pregnancy, like viral infections, commonest being the German measles or rubella, that has been sort of linked with congenital heart defects. But I would like to emphasize that in the vast majority, I would say nearly 95%, is just a draw of the lot, and you can't really ascribe any particular reason as to why the child has had a congenital defect.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Saab, you know, when a child comes into the family, brings a lot of happiness. But उस दौरान भी I'm sure a lot of people will not want to hear this because naturally सब चाहते हैं कि उनका बच्चा जो एकदम स्वस्थ हो. But are there any telltale signs कि बच्चे को CHD है? कुछ ऐसा कोई तरीका है पता लग जाए कि congenital heart disease कहीं उसको है? कोई telltale signs है जो parents देख सकते हैं?
Okay, Nitin. So, like I said, the development of these defects happens when the child is in utero.
Yeah.
So it's a normal practice that the mother would have 3 or 4 ultrasounds during that period, just basically to look at defects. So in the vast majority, if the mother has had the regular antenatal checkups, the ultrasonologist would be able to pick up the defects which are there. Now, if he is suspecting a defect, then you go on to a next level, wherein you'll do a specialized examination, which is known as a fetal echocardiography. And I must say that nearly 95% of the defects would get picked up. Now, this is for the antenatal part.
Yeah.
Now, once the child is born, then depending on what is the underlying severity, you do have telltale signs and symptoms. So like if you are presenting if you have a very severe cardiac defect, then obviously you'll present immediately after birth or within the first few hours to days.
Okay.
And what you generally find is that the child is absolutely cold and clammy. The skin is absolutely ashen, like you find on a very cold December morning. The breathing is going to be very, very rapid and labored. And you'll feel that the child is having a lot of distress. He just can't breathe.
Right.
The child will absolutely be listless. Otherwise, a child should have a very lustful, loud cry. These children are actually curled up in a corner and they're kind of whimpering. And most of the times, your primary physician should be able to pick up a murmur.
Yeah.
Now, the less critical ones would come to you later on in life, and as you very truly said in the introduction, that they may sometimes present to you in adulthood.
Yeah.
But the general ones would come to you within the first few weeks to months of life, and the general presentation is going to be that the child is having difficulty in feeding. So the mother wants to suckle the kid, and the child gets tired, so he gives up suckling. If they're not taking enough intake, they're not feeding well, then the weight gain and the milestones get delayed.
Okay.
Breathing again is a telltale sign. And I think the most important sign is that if you ever find a discoloration, if you have a duskiness of the skin or the tongue or the lips, don't just put it down to the weather or an ambient temperature. A blueness in a child is a harbinger for an underlying cardiac defect unless proven otherwise.
Right.
So if you have any of these symptomatologies or signs, I think you should sort of consult a pediatric cardiologist, and henceforth it could be taken up. If there is nothing wrong, fantastic.
Yeah.
But if something is found out, then you can sort of logically go on to the next step and then the next step.
Absolutely.
What can sometimes also happen, Nitin, is that these children will miss out, and they will come to you when they're about in the mid-20s or mid-30s. And they'll come to you with sudden collapsing. The guy's absolutely okay, he goes out for a game, and then he collapses. Or they'll complain of constant fatigue and immense amount of tiredness. All of these are basically harbingers of underlying cardiac defects, should not be ignored, and one should have a meeting with a pediatric cardiologist, and then it can be taken forward from there.
I totally agree with you because I remember I was in school and in class 11, we suddenly found out that one of our friends was not feeling well, and they found out that he had a hole in his heart, which had got undetected all this while.
True,
No one knew about it, but it's first showed up when he was in class 11.
Very
So
true.
I totally understand what you're saying. मैं आपसे अगला सवाल पूछना चाहूँगा शैलेंद्र कुमार जी, and you know this is a difficult time for you. Your child is still in the hospital, and we're all hoping. आज देखिएगा सबकी दुआएं भी हैं जो देख रहे हैं, बहुत जल्द माधव ठीक हो जाएगा. पर आपको कब पहले पता लगा? क्या कुछ साइंस पता लगे या आपको बिफोर योर वाइफ डिलीवर्ड पहले ही पता लग गया था?
ये जब बच्चे की बर्थ हुई थी तो उसके बाद बेबी को जब मैंने पहली बार देखा तो उसे देखकर खुशी तो बहुत हुई, लेकिन उसकी ब्रीदिंग जो है वो प्रॉपरली नहीं थी, डिफ़िकल्ट ब्रीदिंग थी, और कुछ टाइम बाद हमने देखा कि उसकी स्किन पिगमेंटेशन जो है ब्लूइश हो रही थी.
अच्छा.
लिप्स नेल्स ब्लू हो गए थे. डॉक्टर ने उसे अंडर ऑब्जर्वेशन रखा 2-3 घंटे, फिर हमें बताया इसे कार्डियक इशू हो सकता है.
जी.
तो ऐसे ही पता लगा हमें.
अच्छा.
हाँ जी.
तो अभी हॉस्पिटल में ही हैं, यू नो डॉक्टर साहब जो है ऑफ कोर्स बहुत ध्यान रख रहे हैं उनका. मैं आपसे बीच बीच में बात करता रहूँगा, एंड आपसे मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि अगर आपको कभी भी ऐसा लगे आप मेरे सवाल का जवाब नहीं देना चाहते, इफ़ यू डोंट फील कंफर्टेबल आप बता दीजिएगा, दैट्स ओके. हाँ जी. डॉक्टर साहब, कंजेनाइटल हार्ट डिजीज़ की जो हम बात कर रहे हैं, कोई स्पेसिफिक अलग से ट्रीटमेंट है इसका या बाकी हार्ट डिजीज़ की तरह ही इसका भी जो है इलाज होता है?
So Nitin, the management for congenital heart defects is entirely different from the way that you would approach an
Congenital heart
adult. Okay.
Yeah.
So just at the outset, the one very glaring thing is that adult disease you're generally told that don't take fats. I mean that's one of the guidelines.
Right.
It doesn't hold true for pediatrics, right?
Right.
So these are absolutely different entities, and the two cannot be sort of intermixed.
Right.
An adult pediatric cardiologist is generally not the right person to be interrogating a child with a congenital heart defects. But unfortunately, in our country, because of the paucity of trained manpower, an adult cardiologist would generally be the first call of appeal for people in the peripheries. Yeah, but so they're entirely different, and the management follows different pathways or cascades.
But what are the challenges, in the treatment of CHD? How is it more difficult, or how different is it from treating an adult?
So the challenges are huge. The first and foremost is that the complexity.
Yeah.
So if I were to just give you a ballpark figure, there are about odd to 300, 350 odd combinations which can happen, and even in each child. So if we only look at a ventricular septal defect, every child is different.
जी.
To that you add the immaturity of the child. So we would be operating on children who are as small as 1 day of age.
Right.
So all the organ systems, you'll appreciate the organ systems are not developed. So you have to deal not only with the cardiac, but you're also dealing with the other organ systems which are very, very immature. So that in itself is a challenge. The second thing is that nearly 90% of the congenital heart defects in children would need the assistance of cardiopulmonary bypass to correct the defect.
Oh.
Unlike in adults where you can do it off pump without using a bypass. So that brings in its own challenges. The post-operative period also tends to be more challenging than when it comes to the adults. Yeah.
जी. तो मेरा सवाल अगला जो है आपसे और आपसे भी दोनों से है. पहली बात तो मैं जानना चाहूँगा कि क्या आपकी फैमिली में कोई हिस्ट्री है ऑफ हार्ट डिजीज़, किसी को था? और उसके बाद आपसे सवाल है कि क्या ये हेरिडिटरी है? इज CHD हेरिडिटरी? आप बताइए पहले. डिड एनीवन एल्स हैव?
जहाँ तक मुझे पता है मेरी फैमिली में तो ऐसा कोई हिस्ट्री तो नहीं है हार्ट डिजीज़ की.
ओके.
हाँ जी.
डायबिटीज़, हाइपरटेंशन किसी को कुछ नहीं?
नहीं, किसी को नहीं है.
ओके. तो दैट ब्रिंग्स मी टू यू. बट अदरवाइज इज इट मे बी ही डजंट नो, मे बी इज नॉट अवेयर ऑफ इट, कहीं फैमिली हिस्ट्री में चलता है, ऐसा होता है क्या कि इज इट हेरिडिटरी?
So Nitin, like I said at the beginning also, nearly 95% of the congenital heart defects are going to be just a draw of the lot, right? So you can't really go back and say that this thing went wrong, that's why the child had a congenital heart defects. Yes, there are clusterings. So there are families which would have, or in which certain disease would run through.
Yeah.
One of them is what is known as the hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, in which the muscle tends to become very thick and obstructs the flow of blood through the heart. There is a definite genetic link, and if you have a certain set of genes, then you are going to manifest the disease as you go forward. The good thing is that most of these genetic clusterings can be detected when the child is in utero.
Okay.
And if you get a good consult with the genesis, then they are able to actually tell you as to whether your future children are going to be afflicted by the disease or not. Another very important thing which I would like to sort of clarify right now is, let's say there is a child with a congenital heart defect in a family, right? So it does not mean that the subsequent pregnancies or the subsequent children are also going to have congenital. So nearly 97% are going to be normal. Your risk goes up from having a 1% abnormality to a 2%. But yes, you have to be more careful. It is mandatory that you get a fetal echocardiogram done, and you have to take certain more precautions than any other normal lady would be taking.
And as you said, it's almost like a draw of lots, so you really can't predict it. But still, what's your advice today to all women who are planning a child, all pregnant women? What would you like to tell them? What can they do? क्या precaution ले सकते हैं कि least chances उनके बच्चे को CHD होने की?
So Nitin, that's a brilliant question. So the first and foremost, the thing is that whenever you are planning, so all this has to happen before you are planning your pregnancy.
Correct.
You need to get in touch with your gynecologist, and you need to give them a very good medical history. So like I was mentioning, that things like diabetes, if it's uncontrolled in the first 3 months, then the propensity goes up. People with having low thyroid levels should get the thyroid levels corrected. Your drug history is mandatory. So it is very common for people to be taking drugs which lower the cholesterol levels. It has been known that these drugs can have an impact on the development of the fetal heart. So if you're taking any drugs on a chronic long-term basis, you should sort of discuss that with your gynecologist, and she would then advise you to either move to a separate drug or to sort of modify the dosages. The third thing which you can do is that immunize yourself. So like viral infections are known to increase. So please take the flu shot. Get yourself immunized against the rubella virus. And then obviously the thing that you can really change is the social ones. So please don't smoke and please don't consume alcohol, at least during the first 6 months of pregnancy. Ideally the whole, but if you can't, then at least the first 6 months.
Perfect. और जाते जाते मैं शैलेंद्र जी बस आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा कि आई एम श्योर जो भी देख रहा है वो जानना चाहेगा कि अब माधव की तबीयत कैसी, क्या प्रोसीजर किया गया है और अभी उसकी कैसी तबीयत है?
सर्जरी से पहले तो हमें काफ़ी घबराहट हो रही थी और इसको लेकर हम बहुत परेशान भी थे, लेकिन सर्जरी सक्सेसफुल रही है तो अब तो थोड़ा पहले से रिलैक्स है। और डॉक्टर साहब ने कहा है अभी वो 72 आवर्स जो है अंदर अभी आईसीयू में रहेगा जी, तो ठीक है फिलहाल देखते हैं।
चलिए आप बिल्कुल चिंता मत कीजिए, ऑल ऑफ अस आर गोना प्रे, जितने भी लोग देख रहे हैं प्लीज़ प्रे दैट माधव जो है जल्दी से रिकवर हो। तो डॉक्टर डागर एक और सवाल मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा कि इसको डायग्नोस कैसे किया जाता है? हाउ डू यू फाइंड आउट कि CHD क्या है, एग्जैक्टली डायग्नोसिस क्या होता है इसका, एंड व्हाट हैपेंस अगर इसको डायग्नोस टाइम पे नहीं किया गया, अगर अनडिटेक्टेड रहे फॉर लॉन्ग टाइम, हाउ सिवियर डज इट बिकम, कितनी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है?
So Nitin, once there is a suspicion that a child has a congenital heart defect, you would be referred to a pediatric cardiologist. The first thing that a cardiologist does would be examining the child, so basically listening for murmurs, etc. And then he might get an X-ray chest done and also look at the oxygen content in the blood using a small machine known as a pulse oximeter. The mainstay and the workhorse for diagnosis of congenital heart defects is an echocardiography, in which basically sound waves are used to interrogate the heart. It tells you about the structure, it tells you about the function, it tells you about the location, and lots of other data which is needed. And nearly 80 to 90% of surgeries and interventions can be sort of planned solely on the basis of an echo. Sometimes you need more information and additional information basically related to the pressures within the heart. Then you might have to rely on a cardiac catheterization or an MRI. Now once you have all this data with you, then depending on what is the underlying defect, if it's a very, very minor defect, you may not need any intervention. Sometimes only medication is going to sort of opt out for you. If it is more structurally difficult, then you might need surgery to correct the structural defect. Today, with the help of cardiac catheterization also, we are able to close holes, we are able to open blocks within the system. If your heart rate is very, very slow, then sometimes pacemakers may be needed in children as early as the first day of life. Now the question to me was that what happens if you don't treat it on time? I mean the consequences can be disastrous. Ideally the children should start treatment the moment they are diagnosed, and which will depend on the underlying defect. So like if it's a TGA, then the operation or intervention should happen on day 1. If it is less complex, then it can go on to the first couple of months or 2 years. What is most important is that there is a lack of awareness. People think that the older the child, the safer would be the surgery or the intervention. that cannot be further from the truth. If we wait for too long, unfortunately, at most times, the defects which are very easily corrected if they come to you within the first 6 months actually become inoperable. Now that is the conundrum. As the child grows, sometimes the child may actually start feeling better, so the parents feel that everything is becoming okay, but that is actually a fallacy.
Yeah.
So to put it into a nutshell, I think most of the children should have some procedure or intervention, preferably within the first 6 months.
Yeah.
If not that, at least within the first 1 year of life, they should go and meet a pediatric cardiologist and then take it forward from there.
बट बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप दोनों को यहाँ पर आने के लिए. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग अ पार्ट ऑफ दिल की बात.
Thank you.
थैंक यू.
आप देख रहे हैं मैक्स हेल्थ केयर दिल की बात. मैं हूँ खुराफात नितिन.